Welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. This is Justin.
Monty.
Wyatt.
Tonight we're taking a look at the CAO America, and this is the Bottle Rocket. It's got a very nice firm pack. It's got that barber pole wrap to it. Looks real nice, little lumpy, but it's a hand-rolled cigar. And of course you can see the seams because they're right along that barber pole, but overall it looks like a wonderful little cigar. It is really firm down here by the foot, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Minimal veins. Overall, I don't think there'll be any problem. Aroma? I get like maybe a bit of earth, but mostly it's like a nice chocolate. Yeah. And then off the foot, it's mostly chocolate. Just not super in your face, but definitely there. Monty?
Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty cool cigar. They call it the Bottle Rocket. I think they only sell it. We got it in this really, you probably can't see it, but a really cool box of 3 cigars. I think sometimes you can get them as singles, but it's got the double wrapper. And like Justin said, mine has a couple of lumps, but it's relatively firm throughout the cigar, though. Nothing soft or squishy. I think there's 1 or 2 prominent veins, but they're rather thin and straight, so hopefully that won't be an issue. And if I may, I think this is pretty much one of the prettiest cigar bands there is. I really believe that. I think it's nice. Off the wrapper, I just get a lot of tobacco and some nice earthiness to it, but not a whole lot. And then, like Justin was saying, to me, it's very chocolatey on the foot with maybe just a little bit of hate to it. But, I've had this cigar, it's been quite a while since I've had one, and it was in a bigger ring gauge. It was more of almost like a double Toro, but I haven't had this particular one, and it's been a while since I've had an America, so I'm really looking forward to this.
It's a very patriotic cigar. It looks beautiful. I've never had a barber pole cigar, so I'm really looking forward to this. But yeah, everything about the presentation, from the box to the band to the cigar itself, looks great, and I really have nothing more to add. So let's light it up. That is a really good first puff. Very thick smoke. It's almost like molasses. Just coats your whole mouth. Deep, dark flavors.
A little bit of spice on the back of my tongue. Not a lot, but
Yeah, it's kind of faint, but it's there. I agree.
yeah, very like a dark tobacco finish for me.
There's kind of a drying element to this smoke. I don't know. I don't want to place a flavor to it yet, but
It's really like a woodsy cedar to me.
cedar mines. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a little bit of that to that. Not real prominent, but I don't know. I'm trying to describe what I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, to me, it tastes like some sort of like a biscotti or something, because there's that drying, almost cedary kind of
Stale
taste.
cookie.
Like a stale. I don't see that as a bad thing. I like stale cookies.
No, I'm saying like a stale cookie.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would have said I don't get the sweetness of it. Maybe like a dry piece of toast. I see where you're coming with that.
And see that spice is already just in 2 or 3 puffs is kind of it's a little more prominent on the back of my tongue.
Yeah, it's sitting a little bit longer into the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of it I just get a little bit. Yeah, now a little more spice and some dark tobacco flavors. I see what you're getting with the drying.
Yeah,
I wanted to say like a cedar, but yeah, there's something else to it. Well, let's get into the first third and see how it develops. Welcome back. We're about 10 minutes into the CAO Americana, or just America.
just America.
The CAO America. For me, not a real change in flavors yet. I still get a nice dark tobacco. The spice is died down, but it's still there a little bit. And I agree, there's like a drawing sensation and taste to it that I just can't quite put my finger on. I see why it's coming in with like a biscotti, or maybe and I said like a stale piece of toast. There's something a bit drying about it, and it's got a certain little twang to it as well, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. The finish is relatively long. It's around a medium in body, medium in strength. Ash is holding on well. Burn's not perfect, but not needing a touch up. Overall, so far, really enjoying it.
Yeah, for the most part, I agree. My burn is a little off. I'm probably going to touch it up here in a minute, but the ash is holding on real well, and so far it's doing pretty nicely. That spice that I talked about that was kind of building up on the back of my palate and kind of a little bit of a medium to long finish, that spice is like 90% gone for me. And I was trying to figure out what the finish is like, and I keep coming back to almost like an almond flavor. There's a real distinct nuttiness to it. It's got to be like an almond or something. But overall, very nice. A lot of smoke, and like the guys said, I agree. There's a drying element to it too, but nothing in a bad way. So I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, really good smoke. I still think there's that drying element, but call me crazy. Especially on the Retro Hill, there's this kind of really sweet tartness that I'm gonna just go ahead and call it raspberry. I mean, it's really smooth, really sweet, and that combined with the finish, which is really chocolatey and has a drying element, it just tastes like I'm smoking a bakery. I mean, it's really, really good. So hopefully it keeps up with this complexity.
Well, let's get into the second, third approach, midpoint. See how it develops. Well, welcome back. We're at the halfway point of the CAO America, and still good cigar. Me and Wyatt were talking. I almost feel like the draw is almost tightened up for me, but it's still manageable. Ash is holding on. Burn's okay. Still running around a medium in body, medium in strength. Flavors for me still kind of earthy. The pepper or spice has gone completely. I'm picking up that kind of that nutty flavor that Monty had mentioned, but for me it's almost like a nice sweet nut into the finish. And I don't want to say like a honey roasted nut, but there's a certain sweetness or sugary sweetness to the nutty flavor that comes in. I'm also maybe a little bit of coffee building up as well in that finish, but nothing really pronounced on that end just yet. So far, still a very good cigar.
Yeah, I agree. It's still a really good cigar. I did have to touch it up a little bit, but ever since I did, it's burned really true and really nice. The ash has gotten a real kind of blackish, flaky look to it, but it still holds on well, which is really weird. I keep looking at it thinking it's going to fall off on my pants or my shirt, but it never does. Which is kind of a weird thing. But that nuttiness is still really pronounced for me. A lot of people don't like just a plain raw almond, just a roasted almond. It has a very distinct taste to it, but I personally love them. I'll eat those suckers by the handful, and I get tons of that raw roasted almond off this. The type of almond that's not flavored with anything and not coated in anything. So to me, it's a real pleasing finish, really good smoke. My draw might be a little tighter, but it's barely enough to even notice. Certainly not a problem.
I respectfully disagree. Construction just took a crap from me on this halfway point. This cigar had a tight draw to begin with, and I typically don't care for cigars with a really tight draw. But this one, it just got like to the point where it just produced no smoke. So I cut it and I relit it, and still no changes. So I really hope something changes, because the flavors I was getting in this cigar earlier were great, but something happened where it just completely constricted, and I'm still puffing and puffing away, but I'm still not getting enough of the smoke to really even see what it tastes like. So. as Justin would say, let's get into the final third and see what we think.
Welcome back. We're at the final third and then point of the CAO America. Kind of a little disappointing for me. It's went out a couple of times. The draw is super tight. I can't get much smoke out of it. It's partly me as kind of running it between my fingers to try to loosen the draw up. The wrappers come apart on me, but that's mostly my fault. From what flavors and tastes I can get out of it, they really haven't changed because I'm kind of having to turbo puff it. It's kind of hot, washing those flavors out. So at this point, I'm a little disappointed in this third, but you know, the first half or the first 2/3 were relatively good, flavorful. If I was going to rate it though, because of the way this final third treated me, I'm going to give it a 6.5. It was good, not great, and this final third kind of just went flat for me, especially with all the construction draw issues with it. But maybe it's just me. I think it's a good end of your day smoke. It's kind of, you know, it's medium body, medium flavor, or medium strength. It's, you know, it's relatively complex in those first 2/3. I was getting, you know, a little bit of earthiness, some coffee flavors came in. There was a little bit of spice in the front, so it performed really good for I don't know, until this happened. So I don't want to knock it too much. It's a good cigar. I think it's a great end of your day smoke. Maybe I got the bum in the batch and it just went out on me and just had a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show you how interesting it can be. We all had three pretty different experiences. You know, White had a lot of trouble with his. Justin, his was okay until I got down to the final third. Mine's been pretty dang good the whole time. It's still smoking really good. About 20 minutes ago it went out. I don't know if it was the cigar or me because I was talking and carrying on. Who knows, but it's been pretty good for me throughout. I'm not a huge fan of these cigars, but I do like them. I do like the America line of cigars. It's not a great cigar by any means. You know, the burn's been pretty true. I've had to touch it up a total of once or twice. But it's again, it's just a pretty good cigar. I did have a better experience than these two guys. As far as what I would rate it, I'm gonna go a 7. I think it's worth a 7 to me. I used to smoke a lot of this one in their big Toro size. It's a really thick cigar. It's a big cigar, and I remember it took a while. It always had a little bit of a tight draw, but I always stuck with it, and it burned pretty well. So maybe just almost be like nostalgia on my part. So I'm gonna stick with a 7.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed, but like Monty said, you know, he had a pretty good experience, and Justin had a pretty good experience. I just didn't, so maybe, you know, I got the, like Justin said, the bum in the badge. I'm not too well versed in CAO cigars, so I really don't want to speak to their line, but this particular cigar, you know, everything about it, the presentation, the box, the band, you know, how the cigar itself looked, everything just looked great. And even that first like half of the cigar was great. Yeah, once I hit this last third, it's like I hit a wall, and I would, you know, cut off about a 1/4 of an inch and then about a 1/2 an inch, and it just, you know, like just a turbo puff, turbo smoke, and what flavors I did get were just so washed out and not due to the construction that I think it's a dud, but it's something that I would try if I came across it in a different size. If it had a thicker ring gauge, or maybe even if I just saw like a Robusto of this same ring gauge, I would try it again because the flavors were very, very good at the beginning. But yeah, they're just, you know, construction just really, really fell apart on me. I'm going to give this one a 5 just because I only smoked 2/3 of the cigar, and that's not enough to really give it a rating that it deserves. But again, I wouldn't say don't try it, but try it in a different size.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And it'd be just these. But in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, smoke them if you got it.